Good evening, and welcome to Hanging with the Walkers. Here with my host and co-host, Rogers Walker. Good evening, and welcome to Hanging with the Walkers. And once again, as you know, he's here in spirit, not in presence on tonight, but all is well. We are here to have an awesome time to love on one another, to share tonight, and I am excited. Our topic tonight is a mother's love. Um, you may or may not know, or may not have noticed. I was not on last Monday. Uh, I was in a state of mind. Um, it being Mother's Day. First of all, um, and sometimes I have a awesome celebration when it comes to Mother's Day. Um, but for some reason this year it was a little harder. And oh, I tell you, I was in my feelings. And I thank God for all of you that actually posted, to all of you that had pictures that you have taken with me or with us. Oh my goodness, when I say that, melted my heart. That kept me going because I felt the love and I understood and knew that I am not a motherless child, that I do have people that love me. But for some reason, last week, oh my goodness, during the celebration coming up to Mother's Day, it was something else. And maybe it's just me, maybe nobody else feels like that. Please, as you come on, please like and share this video. Please text to someone, let them know to come hang out with us. We're talking about a mother's love on tonight. And that's a special thing. Um, Talking about a mother's love, how important that is, and how important that can be. A lot of times, when we get grown, we become mature. We really truly feel as if we don't need our moms, we don't need our parents. We feel as if, um, well, we're grown now. We don't have to spend as much time with them as we used to. But maybe we don't think about the fact that maybe they need us. Maybe they need to be around us. And we become selfish. We have our own lives. We do our own things. And we don't really think about that there are parents somewhere that needs your love, needs the attention, needs to call, need to follow up, need to touch base with you. Um, so as you said, we feel like we're grown. We have our families, we have our jobs, we have our responsibilities, and we just keep pushing. We don't look back, we don't think back, we don't go back, because we're grown, we're mature, and we feel like, okay, we can do this. We're happy, we're excited, we're living our best life. Mom, dad doing their thing, and they don't really need us. But you'd be surprised sometimes. There is some um, moms and dads that were really hurting this year, that really needed a word, needed some love. And as you said, we go about our own thing to establish our own way, and we don't really understand the importance of a mother's love because we're grown, remember? Good afternoon. You're calling into Hanging with the Walkers. Hello, do we have a caller on the line? Hey, how are you? Welcome to Hanging with the Walkers. Do I put? Should I put you on the speaker? Okay, all right, all right. Well, I'm gonna put you on speaker, and then you just mute your phone for any background noises. Okay? Okay. And please let me know if someone beeps in. Okay? Okay. Thank you. We have my handsome co-partner cohorts that's on the line with us on tonight, that's hanging on the line, and we appreciate him to for being on the line tonight to cheer us on in the midst of this. And I have my tissue ready tonight, so if anything happens, if there is a flood, if there is if there are tears that would take place on tonight, I'm ready. I don't have to run and get my Kleenex box. I got it right here near me. But we're talking about a mother's love on tonight. A mother's love from the son's point of view. And my twin brother is supposed to call in and join me on tonight. And oh, I promise you, this is something that I can't even think about, can't even reference, can't even begin to share, because we don't understand that parents need love too. Does that make sense to anybody tonight? Again, I said earlier, we've gone on, we've grown up, we've gone on with our individual lives, um, living our dreams, doing our job, raising our kids, and this sort of thing. And sometimes we feel like even if they are younger parents, we actually feel like they don't really need us. They don't really need to hear from us. They don't really need to spend time with us. But I think you should rethink that. I think you should think about that again. I think you should research that, because if you have kids, one day it will be your turn to wait for a call, to wait for a visit, to wait for a conversation. It'll be your turn to wait until they have time to spend time with you. And I'm just putting that out there. As I said, thank you all so much for all of the love. Thank you so much for all of the pictures that were taken with me over the years, so that I could share those um, and feel that love. Pictures worth a thousand words. If we understood and knew the power of a picture, then we know what it is that I'm explaining on tonight. All of the hugs. There are some people that are in our lives that I promise you have gives great hugs, like Veronica from Fort Myers. They give great hugs. They let you know that you're loved for real. My overseer, Apostle Lucinda Rich, shout out to her on today. That gives great hugs, that let you know that I love you. Sierra Boyd, even after you the hug is complete, you still know that they love you. You still feel that. So we're talking about a mother's love on tonight. um, some have moms, some never experienced their moms, some their mothers were not in their life. Um, so a lot of times when you get into conversations like a mother's love, it's kind of hard for them to share, um, because it was something that they never really truly, and I choose the words wisely, truly experienced. I know a substitute mom. I know of that person that may have raised me, but a mother's love that actually, birthed us in the world, um, that cling to us, that shared with us, that poured into us. Every now and then, we can't doubt the fact that they don't understand and have experienced a real mother's love, just because it was not their birth mother. Because there are some people that are in your life that may not be your birth mother or birth children, but guess what they can do? They can love you right where you are. They can share and pour things into your life right where you are. So I never doubt that. And I know that because of our hearts, a lot of times God will send people into your life to bless you, to be a blessing to you, to love on you, to encourage you, and to build you up until you're stronger. And I think that's what God mothers are for, God parents are for, spiritual parents are for. Are there in your life to actually encourage you, to build you up, to say things, to speak things in your life, that missing part of your life. And I always say that if you are like us or me, and your mom is not living, you find someone to love on. You find someone to share that love, to impart into them that love that you would have given your mom or even dad during the Mother's Day or Father's Day. And I promise you, it is definitely healing all by itself because it gives you that extra oomph. It makes you go out of your way to do something for them. It makes you go out of your way to share love and show love. It makes you go out of your way to talk to someone else, to share with someone else, to encourage someone else, and then realize that it's truly not about you. So that's a good thing. I'm writing a book now, my sixth book, and it's called My Broken Pieces. And I declare to you, writing that book is a challenge all by itself. Me trying to share, flow, be healed, encourage in the midst of the book. And in doing that, it has like opened up some things, shared some things, shown some things, and blessed me in different ways. And I like that. I'm definitely encouraged by that. I wrote in one of the pages, it says, um, they have broken away from the ship called life, and we encourage them to cry out to the Lord for healing and restoration in their lives. We encourage you to do that. Cry out for your family, your business, and your relationships. And I say all the time that only God can do it in our lives. And I understand and know that He can bring you out. You know, we talk about depression all the time. We talk about being in low spirits. We talk about wanting to be on our own. We talk about being able to share love and show love. But sometimes there's a hurt that is so deep that you can't even imagine. And because you can't imagine it, it's just something about being able to experience the hurt, being able to experience the pain, being able to verbalize what it is that you're going through. And in my book I was writing, I said, I know tears are welling up in your eyes because you feel God moving in the midst of reading. And just be confident in knowing that God's working it out for your good. And that you have to declare to Him in the midst of reading the book that I believe that God can do it. As a matter of fact, to read that part again, to be able to say that I know that God can do it in my life. And then you have to declare it for your children and to your children that may have been lost along the way. And I said, oh my goodness, I say, so I'm writing this to be a blessing to other people. But in all actuality, it was blessing me at the same time. I say that again. I was writing it to be a blessing to other people, but it was blessing me at the same time. And you have to declare it if you're married, you have to declare it for your husband, you got to declare it for your wife. And then if you're in a place in your life right now, you may not have the faith that it takes right now to remind yourself that only God can do it. Then you got to declare that it's already done. You got to declare to yourself that God is already healed, that He has already moved, that He's already healing that hurt place in your life. And in the book, I began to talk about the storm and those that were on the ship with Paul during the storm. Like I said, I'm telling parts of the book. In our lives right now, in the midst of going through our Mother's Day, oh my God, I know that there was a storm brewing. I know there was a storm raging. Some received, some didn't. Some were looking forward to things, some didn't get it. Some was looking forward to time being spent together, they didn't get it. But I remind you again, even though we are parents, even though we are up to a certain age, you still need that love. You still need that attention. Maybe not all the time, but you look forward to it and you're encouraged by it. About, you're encouraged by it because you feel as if, well, they're still there, still in their lives. They haven't gotten so grown into where they don't think you need them in their lives. And it happens that way sometimes. Life, the teenagers say life be life. And so then when we separate from the very thing that we are familiar with, we have a different mindset of independence. I don't need this. I don't need them. I don't need to be a part of this. And we forget that ship called life that we were attached to. And we began to go on our journey all by ourselves. We began to think that we can build and we can encourage ourselves and we don't need anybody else. We began to think, well, maybe they don't really love me. Maybe I was never really a part of the family. Maybe I was never really in. Maybe we were not as close as we thought we were because of some of the conversations that come about, because of some of the hurtful things that you hear, because of some of the lessons that we may have learned over the years. Some of the things after we get grown and we hear that was being said, it's hurtful. So we separate ourselves from our family, separate ourselves from our loved ones, and then we think, well, it doesn't matter. I don't need them. And I know that they don't need me. Otherwise, they wouldn't say what they said. But if we only knew that some things were said out of hurt, some things were said because they were angry, some things were said because of what they heard, some things were said because of what they felt at that time. Doesn't necessarily mean that this is what it was. Sometimes it's from misunderstandings. Sometimes they may have said something and you took it one way, but they meant it another. And instead of you coming back to find out what really transpired or what they really meant, then you just shut down and you decide, you know what? I don't want to deal with this anymore. But during this Mother's Day season, I understand and heard from quite a few that were hurting, that were broken, that have experienced some things, that needed someone, that needed some love, that needed some encouragement, and no one was there to give it to them. So when someone falls on your mind in that magnitude, then begin to pray for them. I was just like quoting like different scriptures in the midst of my book, and I was sharing about the things that we taught or showed our kids in raising them. There's some things that you saw, there's some things that you heard, there's some things that you know about, and in your mind, you're saying to yourself, well, if they said or did that about them, they may say or do the same thing about me. And then we go on with our life, bearing that weight, bearing that guilt. And then we show our kids, whether it's godparents, whether it's godchildren, whether it's our real kids that we birth, We go on showing them how to hide, how to shut down, how to suppress the very things that they need to learn from. I wrote this scripture about the ants. You remember that scripture, Proverbs 30 and 25, and it says, ants are creatures of little strength, yet they store up their food in the summer. And Proverbs 6, 6 through 9 says, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet they prepare their meat in the summer and gather its food at harvest. And how long will you lie there, you sluggard? In other words, did we teach our children when they were growing up how to prepare, how to handle low seasons in our life, how to quote unquote survive in the midst of a storm? Because remember, we're parents, so we were always there, we were always providing, we were going to always make sure that our kids never did without. We're going to always make sure that they have shelter. We're going to always make sure that they're covered. We're going to do that. We're going to make sure they never felt what we felt. So we sheltered and we covered them. Proverbs 13 and 4 says, the soul of the lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich. So that we teach them how to be diligent, that we teach them how to flow, that we teach them how to go and prepare, work, and store up so that if there's a job change, if there's a location change, if there's a city change, that we know how to handle the low places in our life. Did we teach them that? Or did we show them that it's okay that when they have a hard time, just call us? We'll get you out. Did we show them how to be able to buckle down, do without, and say no in those low places in our life? We're talking about a mother's love, mother slash father's love. Did we really show them that? Did we really teach them that? Or did we just show them how to just work hard, get what you want, be satisfied? I won't call it wasteful. I won't call it that. But did we show them how to store? Did we show them how to put things in a place so that if there is a rainy day, if there's a rainy day, there's something that's stored that we can go to and be able to get that, like the ant. They learn how to work together. Did we teach our kids how to work together? Did we teach them how to stick together? Did we teach them how to prepare? And then when you look that up, it says ants work as a team and they work together in order to achieve something great. And you remember the saying, no man is an island, and there are things and people you need to make things better in your life. There are people who have been predestined and ordained to walk with you into your destiny. So, did we teach our children that it's okay for them to connect with people that are resourceful, that was predestined to be in their lives, to join together with them, to become a positive force in their life? Or did we teach them that everybody's out to get them? Did we teach them that? I know the Bible says, trust no man, but did we teach them how to be able to come together, how to be able to share, how to be able to look out for one another? Did we teach them to do like the ant, to work together to achieve greatness? In other words, you can't do it alone. Connect yourself with others that have the same drive that you have, and understand and know that teamwork is needed at times to make the dream work. We're talking about a mother's love. We just made it through Mother's Day. You know, some of us don't have our mothers. We have mother figures that are in our life that help us, that build us, that encourage us, that wipe our tears because mom is gone. So, because of that, they have been predestined in our lives, properly positioned to be there for us, to listen to us, and not judge us, to teach us like the ant, to be able to work together with a team of like minded people that are going to help us be a blessing to other people. Did we remind our kids? We're talking about a mother's love on tonight. Did we remind our kids that they can't quit, that they can't sit down, they can't turn back, they got to keep working towards a goal? You know, the songwriter said, "Mama may have, Daddy may have, but God bless the child that has his own." Maybe you're not my age, so you can't remember that song. But did we teach them in the midst of nurturing and helping them to grow? Did we teach them how to have goals and pace themselves and be able to keep up with the things, the shift in life, to be able to share with others, to do teamwork? Did we teach them that it's okay to work well with others? Or did we have the mindset that, you know, you don't have to worry about it, you know, they don't like you, and they're jealous of you, and it's okay, mama got you, daddy got you? Did we teach them how to work well with others so that when they are away from us or not in front of us, they're able to handle the crowd? They'll be able to handle the change. They'll be able to handle the uphill battles. Do we understand that? I just want to check my line. I'm just double checking to make sure no one has called in. Are you still there? Okay, I was just checking my phone. No one has called in. Can you still hear me? Okay, all right. Just double checking to make sure no one has called in. Okay, and if you at any time you want to unmute and say something, please let me know. Okay. Okay, thank you. Um, we have to understand, because we're talking about a mother's love, because we just got out of Mother's Day. And as I said again, shout out to my Fort Myers fam, our Wild Mama fam, Fort Pierce fam. Thank you so much. All of the pictures that I have taken collectively of us over the years, I promise you it was a blessing to me. I promise you it helped me to get through this Mother's Day. Rough days, rough moments, quiet times. Um, I was in the grocery store and the cashier said, "Happy Mother's Day." Oh my God, why did I lose it? Because she said, "Happy Mother's Day." I was having one of those moments where I was feeling like a motherless child, like I didn't have my mom, and I just want to talk to her. But I got past it. I got past it. I got past it. Call out to my cousin, Katina, and she said, "You all right, cuz?" "Yeah, I'm good. You know, I'm all right." But it was a little rough. But it got me back on my assignment, talking about a mother's love and being able to teach our kids how to deal with rejection, how to teach our kids how to deal with loneliness. Because even in our lonely moments, we'll say and do some things that we have no business. Single, married, widowed, divorced, separated, because you want attention, because you want affection, you'll let your guard down. You'll say some things, you'll do some things, you'll be around people that you don't even like people that you know don't even like you because you want the attention and you want the affection. Talking about a mother's love tonight. So, did we teach our children how to be able to go to God in those low moments, in those lonely moments, in those sad moments? That we teach them how to pray through those situations? Because even though I know the Lord, I had to remind myself that He said He'll never leave us, that He'll never forsake us, or see our seed begging bread. I had to remind myself that I really was not alone. The flesh tried to say that you were alone, but I wasn't. But it just felt that way. So, did we teach our kids in the midst of being forever growing, forever changing, reaching our goals? Did we teach them how sometimes in stressful situations to be consistent, even in our brokenness, to stay focused? Did we set an example to them of hard work, or did we teach them how to get it from someone else? Did we teach them how to be able to hustle someone else, find a way not to work, find a way not to provide, find a way for someone else to do for you, to give to you, to sow into you, like we did as parents? Talking about a mother's love, and in the midst of our broken pieces, like, did we leave jobs when we became discouraged? Did we have an attitude when the work became difficult? Because if you anything like those phases that we went through, they made you mad on a job, sister girl, honey, I know you walked off that job. They made you mad. They said anything to you that you did not like. I promise you, you did not stay. And we tell everything on Hanging with the Walkers. I had this job, and I was already young, as a nurse. I had already said to myself, I had my pocketbook and my keys. I said to myself, if they say the wrong thing to me tonight, this will be my last night. I will not be working on this job. So why are you walking around with your pocketbook and your keys? Like, what kind of example was I being to the other young ladies that was watching my life on the job? All I know is I had already had made up my mind that if they said the wrong thing to me, I promise you they were going to be without a nurse on that shift that night. So, what are we really teaching our kids as mothers, as fathers, about our work attitude and how to get along on the job and how to have teamwork, how to persevere, how to do like the ant to prepare for those low times in our life? We love our parents. We do. We respect them. And no harm and no shade. But what did they teach us while we were growing up? Did we show our broken pieces? And when I say broken pieces, I mean our children, our family, whether it's godchildren, whether it's grandchildren, whether it's adopted kids. Did we show our broken pieces how to have an attitude, have the right attitude when things didn't go our way? Because we talk to a lot of people every day, and they literally, physically, and emotionally shut down and go into a sabbatical because they don't want to deal with the conversation. They don't want to deal with the people. They don't want to deal with what you have to say. They don't want to hear anything that you have to say. You can't talk to them. God can't even whisper in their ear because they've already shut down. So, did we teach our kids that? Did we teach them to run and hide from wars and rumors of wars emotionally, mentally? Did we show them that in the midst of an argument, in the midst of everything that's going on in our life, did we teach them that we don't have to deal with it? That we can shut down, we don't have to talk to them, we don't have to answer the phone, we don't have to come out the house, we don't have to go to work, just call in. Because I don't want to deal with the race. I don't want to deal with people. So we're talking about a mother's love on tonight. So what do we really show them? What do we really show our broken pieces? Did we show our broken pieces how to spend every dime and not store for a rainy day, for a storm, for the hurricanes in our life? Because the next 2 weeks is coming. So we ain't got to worry about it. Did we teach them how to live paycheck to paycheck? Did we teach them how to be financially stable? Did we show them that? Did we show them how to save and build like the ant? Now that we're grown and on our own, that's in one of my songs that I'm writing now. Now that we are grown and on our own, did we really show our broken pieces how to function now? Yeah, they were kids, they were growing up. We babysat them, we poured into them, so we said we were praying for them. But did we really teach them in the midst of the time frame that God gave us while they were growing? What did we really show them? What did we really teach them? Did we teach them about separation? Did we teach them about rejection? Did we teach them about letting go? Did we teach them how to look for or expect or experience the right crowd, the positive things in your life, someone that could breathe on you, encourage you, and build you? Did we teach them that? Psalms 27, 8 to 14 is another scripture that I put in the book, and it says, my heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, will I seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my helper. Do not reject me or forsake me, God, my Savior. Though my father and mother forsake me, there it is right there, the Lord will receive me. Teach me your way, Lord. Lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. Do not turn me over to the desire of my foes. For false witnesses rise up against me, spouting malicious accusations. Already in the scripture that these things are going to happen to us, to our children. Did we teach them how to handle this? And then 13 says, I remain confident in this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. It didn't say wait for your friend to calm down and accept you back in the circle. It didn't say wait till your husband or your wife decided they weren't mad anymore and they want to love on you. It didn't say wait until the mean girls decide to let you back in the circle. So now, I'm excited now because they let me back in. It says wait on the Lord. So did we teach them in the midst of their loneliness? Did we teach them in the midst of their separation? Did we teach them in the midst of where they were in life to just hold on and wait on the Lord? Even though they rejected you, even though they forsook you, did we encourage them to wait on the Lord? Because when you're in those low places in your life, I saw this movie one time about Mr. Goodbar, looking for Mr. Goodbar. Oh my God, that was an old movie, but that was a real movie. Because in the midst of that movie, she was looking for love in all the wrong places. And of course, being lonely, going out in the streets, going to a bar, that sort of thing. And then there are people that are watching, people that can pick up on and sense that you're lonely, that you're in a bad headspace, that you need company, that you need attention. And they'll begin to follow you. They'll begin to attach themselves to you. Um, you're my friend. I want to be around you. I want to love on you. In all actuality, all they are there for is just to hurt you and to set you up. So, in the midst of our nurturing, in the midst of our love, in the midst of our maturing our children, that we teach them how to get back home on their broken pieces, that we teach them how to be able to recognize these personalities. And when I did verses 8 to 14, each line encourages us during our trials, remind us to don't hide our face from God. Don't turn away that He is your helper. Even when we get to a point that we feel like our mother and our father don't have time for us. They don't recognize the greatness in us. Mom don't have time to spend with me. She's doing her own thing, living her own life, and she don't have time for me. Even in those times, God is still there. He'll still be with you. Remember, He said He'll never leave you nor forsake you. It's not that mom don't love you. It's not that dad don't love you. That they are just some low places in their life. They're just some things that they're trying to establish. And in doing that, sometimes we feel left alone. Sometimes we feel as if they're not listening to us. Sometimes we feel as if they don't have time for us. Sometimes we feel like they're ignoring us. And if they're in a relationship or a new relationship, guess what we're thinking? Well, they're spending more time with them than they are with me. But we're talking about a mother's love today, and it doesn't turn off. It doesn't turn on and off like a light switch. There are just some things, some rivers, some valleys, some highs and lows that they may have hit. But it doesn't mean that they don't love you. Doesn't mean that they're not praying for you. Doesn't mean that they are not concerned about what you go through or how you feel or what it is that you want to do in life. We're talking about a mother's love. It's like Christ's love. It's never ending. And regardless of how spiteful, how hurtful, how disrespectful you may be, they're still there. She may be a drug addict. She may be on the street. She may be doing things that you feel like that are not what my mom should be doing. You could even be embarrassed. But a mother's love is still there and it never changes. And sometimes all they need is your love to pull them up from that low place that they're in. Sometimes you can do more than you think. You're thinking, well, she don't have time for me. But in all actuality, she's saying, I want to spend time with you. Oh my goodness. I hope we're getting this tonight. Because like I say, I had to encourage myself. I see you took it off speaker. You have something you want to say? Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to Hanging with the Walkers.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Welcome to Hanging with the Walkers.
Yes, ma'am. Um, this is kind of like a touchy subject, but you're talking about a mother's love. I think during my time, they taught me what they knew,
Right.
and how and what they learned how to survive. And I think for me, I gravitated to that, but also as I got older and I began to study the Bible for myself
Yes.
and realize that no man is an island and that you need other people to get ahead. But also, I learned that it's okay not to be okay
Yes.
during this time. And then, just like 2 weeks ago, even with me dealing with the loss of my mom, and then the woman, my other mom who raised me, which was my aunt, and then my spiritual mom, as I was ministering to another family in the loss of their mom, it was encouraging me to know that, hey, even though you're going through something, you're able to encourage someone else
That's
while
it.
they're going through it. And
That's
you
it.
can give them scriptures that help you get along and let them know that it's okay. And when it happens, the tears come, let them fall. Don't try to hold it in. But it'll get there. But a mother's love goes far beyond just what we see in the home.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
looking at we're looking at your strength. We're looking at your actions, even
Yes.
though you say you're strong, but we're looking at the weight that you carry.
Come on.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And a mother love teaches. I don't know for as the sons, but as the daughters, a mother love teaches you how to be independent and a go getter. If nobody gets it for you, you go and you get it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you trust the Lord. Proverbs 5 and 6. You trust the Lord with all your heart, and you do not lean to your own. They gave us scriptures to feast on as you was growing up.
Yes.
And I found myself saying some of the things that the women in my life says. Even I quote you, I quote the fire starters, and it's like, or favorite, because it's like during those times, it's like stuff that I thought I wasn't listening to.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself listening to it. You find yourself quoting that same quote, like, "Oh yeah, I remember them saying that in Sunday school. I remember them saying that in Bible study." So even if your mother is not where she should be, the love never fails.
That's it.
It's
That's it.
unconditionally.
That's it. That's it. And I just, like I say, just it was just a rough place to not have one. But as you said, because we can actually glean off of what they taught us, even when we are away from them, we can still reach back to what they taught us. And the sad part about it, Katina, thank you for calling in. Sometimes in those low places in our life, we know what they said, we know what they taught us, we know what we heard. But sometimes it can get rough, sometimes it can get sad, sometimes it can get lonely, and the flesh will blot out what it is that we were taught. The flesh will smother what it is that we heard that was good for our soul, that was good for our spirit. And it'll teach us, oh, you know what? They just didn't want us to have fun. They just didn't want us to grow up. They just didn't, because they never experienced it, they don't want us to do that. They don't want us to go that direction. That's the mindset. Because the flesh is strong, the mind is strong. And if we're not careful, that voice becomes lower and lower. That voice of reasoning becomes lower and lower. And that voice of destruction begins to speak louder, began to encourage, to say, well, you missed out on this. You know, she didn't want you to do that. And, you know, you're grown now, nobody's around. You know, that's why I keep referring back to that song. I thank the Lord for giving me the words of that song. Now that I'm grown and thinking I'm on my own, I'm settling on my broken pieces, my stuff, my things, my life, because it's not them anymore. They haven't pushed us out the nest. Sometimes we even feel like they push us out the nest. But if you know anything about those birds, that mom will feed that bird until it's strong enough to survive on its own. And then when that bird gets strong enough, she'll start to put thorns in that nest to make those babies uncomfortable so that they can begin to spread their wings and soar. And some of us, I say some of us, were thrown out of the nest too soon. We weren't ready. This is not what we were prepared for. And even in your situation, you didn't have a choice. You were a baby. But there are some that are grown and mature that feel as if I had to leave home too soon. She did it or he did it because they don't love me. They pushed me into where I am now. They more or less dictated my destiny, and I wasn't ready. So I had to choose this life. I had to choose this way. I had to choose how I was going to survive. How about that? And then yours was a perfect situation because, like you say, this is what I was familiar with. Now I have to come from another state to another state around people that I was not raised with. Yeah, they love me, true enough. This is not my mom, but yet still she loves me just like I am hers. And then we got to fight jealousy, we got to fight envy, we got to fight uh, uh, negativity, sarcasm, because of the attention that they want to give because of what they want to do, because of what they want to impart. Then jealousy comes in, and then things are shaken up. But that mother's love did not change. And if we would be honest with ourselves, it wasn't the mother's love, it was our love that began to shift, because we began to think
Wow.
jealousy, well, maybe I'm not hers, and she's just doing it just because. But that mother's love was right there, nurturing, praying, healing, pouring, imparting. And that flesh said, okay, well, they just doing it just because. It's not that they really love me. It's not that they really meant it. It's just, they're just doing it. And then we get upset. And then temperamental. And then all of a sudden, things start to change. Remember that scripture just said that teach me your ways, because in life, our mothers and our fathers teach us things that we should learn or have learned. As you said earlier, teach us what they know, teach us what they have experienced, whether it's limited or not. I'm going to teach you how I survived. I'm going to teach you what I did to make a way in the world. But the scripture said, teach me your way, oh God. Lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. In other words, he knew they was coming. Don't turn me over to the foes. Don't turn me over to the ones that don't like me, that are jealous of me because of where I am, what they think I have, who they think I am, who they think my parents are, what they think that I'm receiving. Don't turn me over to them. My foes, false witnesses that will rise up against me. The Lord knew that all of these things were going to transpire, that they were going to raise up against you, because that they were going to be sarcastic and try to tear down your character because of who you are, whose you are, where you're headed in life, and what you're connected to. So our parents tried to teach us. Some of them didn't have to go through that. They had families that were around them that were close. They didn't have to worry about, being sarcastic and you trying to set me up and all this other thing that go along in our families now because of our hormones. They just ate and slept together and laughed together without a problem. But now we're in a different place, seeing different things, being exposed to different people, different places. And we're seeing some things that they've never seen before. So can they really teach us how to survive in this setting, in this world, in this time, when they never really had to deal with that? That all that was just slapping me in the face. All of that was just, going through my mind, all of that. And then it just reminded us to look to Christ during our brokenness. And Pastor Roger, my husband, who's on the phone, give credit to him because I know he's traveling, trying to make it back home. But he reminded us in Bible study that sometimes the people that we love become our gods. We can just say ouch, because we worship them, we praise them, we love them, and we feel like they are doing it, not knowing that Christ on the inside of them is causing them to be able to do these things, share these things, show these things to us. But they become our God, and we begin to worship them, and we forget that it's God that's on the inside of them that's doing that. And it's so easy. And then you can test yourself, because if something happens to one of them, your whole life fall apart. Oh my God, they almost got to put you in the coffin. They got to put you in the hospital. You're sick, your body shut down, your mind shut down, you're hysterical, you're depressed, you want to die like they died. But Christ reminded us that if we begin to pant like the deer at the brook for him like that, then I can do greater on the inside of you. But by the time we realize that we are worshiping them, that it's all about them, by the time we realize it, we already done fell and bumped our head. Does that make sense?
Makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep, we got to seek him and only him. We look to our families and our friends, our loved ones, but we have to seek him and seek his face. And that mother is giving you the love that Christ has given her to give to you. Sometimes it's uh, what Pastor Roger say is tough love. Sometimes we feel like they're being hard on us. Sometimes we feel like, they're not letting us grow. They're not letting us live. They're not letting us breathe. You know what the kids used to say a long time ago, why you sweating me? Seriously? I'm trying to keep you safe. I'm trying to keep you from getting kidnapped. I'm trying to keep you from being in some relationships that I know that you're not supposed to be in. But we're talking about a mother's love tonight, the strength of a mother's love that can nurture you. And then those are the ones that we shut down. Those are the ones that we try to run away from. Those are the ones that we try to not be a part of. Those are the ones that we try not to connect with because we feel like they're quote unquote sweating us. We feel like they're being too hard. You're being smothering. You're trying to attach yourself to me so I can't grow. And I'm like, what is that? I'm not understanding that. We just want to love you. Just want to spend time with you while we're here. And I wrote in my book, I say, if you were in a place to hear his voice, when he spoke, did we even realize that it was him? Because we hear so many voices in our head. We hear so many things that are trying to control us. But when he begins to speak to us, to our broken pieces, do we really hear him? Did we act out? Did we act out of self and turned away from the things that we know that we were taught, as you said? They only taught us what they knew. They taught us what they were taught on how to survive. They did that for us. They showed us. Didn't have a full education like we are privy to now. Didn't have the ability to be able to travel and go and float like we do now. But they showed us how to survive our broken pieces. That's what we are. We are broken pieces of them. They showed us how to survive in the best way that they knew how. And then we become selfish because we think to ourselves, I want more. And then again, we lose that time, we lose that place, we lose that space. And if we think about it, like in verse 10 of that scripture, if we admit to ourselves, we felt as if the mother and father rejected us or denied us on things that we may have wanted. So I say, like, where are you now in your walk? And you may be still holding on to broken pieces of the past, to things that you were not able to do that you wanted to do, places that you wanted to go. I wanted to be here. I wanted to do that. I wanted to be a part of this. But that mother in your life said, no, it's not time. But you used to call you fast long time ago when you wanted to do something they didn't want you to do. When you wanted to wear something they didn't want you to wear, they used to call you fast. The old people used to say, look at that fast girl.
Are you smelling yourself?
Oh, you're smelling yourself. Exactly. Exactly. But all you know is that I wanted to live. That broken piece wanted to just stand up and represent and show who I really am, not who you said I was. I want to show who I really am. So we break away from this ship called life. And we began to set sail into some things, into some places, into some people that God never intended us to run into. And wow, are we too embarrassed to come back? Are we too embarrassed to say I'm sorry? Are we too embarrassed to ask for forgiveness? Are we too embarrassed to show ourselves because that's a sign of weakness? I'm mature now, and if I do that, it's gonna seem like I'm cowering down. And we feel our strength, we feel our health. We, like you say, we're smelling our musk. So I got to show you who I am, that you not gonna run over me. And yeah, I'm still your child. I'm still your broken pieces, but I'm grown now. You know, that's that quote, I'm grown now. I can do this. I can have this. I can function on my own. But when that ship called life sets sail and it becomes shipwrecked in pain,
Mm.
agony, despair, loneliness, all by itself, broken, shattered, do we know how to find those broken pieces that they gave us to be able to find our way home? You can always come back home. You can always come back home. Even though you feel like what I had was not there, there's still a place called home. There's still family that you can go to make you feel loved, to make you feel wanted, to let you know that you're safe. And pride is a dangerous thing. Pride will make us think we can't come back home. Pride will make us think that we can't do it. Pride will make us think that they don't love us. Pride will make us think that we're out there by ourselves and nobody loves us. Pride will do that to us. But we have to bind that spirit, find our broken pieces, and make our way back home. I'm telling you, like I say, I got over it. I got good. I shook it off. You know, I tried to encourage as many as I could, you know, texting and emailing and calling. Hey, how you doing? You know, in the midst of, but I had my tissue because I was ready. So if I was ready to break it anytime, like, hey, I'm gonna try to help you. I'm gonna try to explain to you what it is that you're going through emotionally. You know, even in the midst of my mess, still trying to
Right.
make sure that I help somebody else. And that's what we have to do because it's not always about us. We feel like we are weak, but when we're weak, it's when we're strong, according to the scripture. When we feel unloved, we got to understand and know that He loves us like no other. There is no other love like His love. We try to find it in other people, we try to find it in other situations. We try to find it in other people in jobs. You know, we'll work extra hours. We'll just knuckle down to wear ourselves out so that we feel as if we're like the ant. We're storing up for later. We're, you know, doing it so that we'll have something if something breaks in our life. But we got to be mindful that that thing is not convincing us to be alone, to be by ourselves, to make us feel like that we're separated from the world. But we got to understand and know that we're loved. And again, I say I'm thankful to God for the people that He placed in my life that can love on me when I need it, that can share with me, speak a word, say a word when I need it. Sometimes just a hug. Doesn't always have to be a mother. It could be a good friend, family member, neighbor, could be a stranger. Just a touch sometimes can heal a multitude of wounds. And again, I remind folk all the time, don't date the assignment. Don't fall in love with the assignment because sometimes God sent people in your life to help you, to be a blessing to you, to encourage you, to pour into you. And you think they want to date you. You think they want to sleep with you. You think they're after you. You think they're after your body, you know, after what it is that you have. But in all actuality, God sent them in your life to be a comfort, to be peace, to lift you up, to encourage you. And we mistake that for something else totally different. And it's actually their assignment. You're their assignment to pour into you. So thank God for the spirit of discernment so that we could be able to understand and know, you know what, this is not the love that I'm looking for. You know, this is just a figment of my imagination. God just sent them for me to be a blessing to them and them to be a blessing to us. And we have to think about that. And then in that verse 11, it says, are you teachable? Can God still teach you how to love? Can He still teach you how to share? Can He still teach you how to be a blessing to others? And if He leads you to the right, why are you always going to the left? If God said just call them and minister to them, why are you trying to get them in the church or get them to somewhere else? He just said to love on them, just talk to them. Let me do that. You just say what I told you to say, release it in their lives, and let me do the rest. And it's time to repent and get it right. If you know that that's not what he told you to tell them, then you are held accountable for destroying that person's life, and their blood is on your hand. Because that's all he told you to tell them. That's all he told you to say to them. But the flesh takes us somewhere else because we feel like we need more. Sometimes more is not good. Sometimes less is better. Just say what it is God told you to say, and then move on. We're talking about a mother's love tonight, the strength of a mother's love. It could be a godmother, it could be an auntie, it could be a sister that's in the mindset of a nurturer. You know, all of our older family members feel like our moms or dads. Sometimes the younger ones try to make you think that they're in charge because they have this strength, and they just got this like take over spirit. You know, everybody gonna follow me, so I'm gonna make sure everybody, falling in line together. And they're the youngest one out of the bunch, but they have that nurturing spirit that they can teach, they can share, they can show, they can love on, you can lean on them and not be judged for your moment of weakness. And it's like a mother's love. And you know it. You don't detest it, you don't disrespect it, because you know that's what it's for in your life. So just enjoy it and just tell God thank you. They're there. You know they're there. Even while we're talking, you have some folk in your life right now that you know they will love you through hurt, pain, anger, denial, rejection. And then there are those that's in your life right now that you know not to tell them nothing because they're going to hold it against you. They're going to throw it in your face. That's the way you were. But we're talking about a mother's love tonight, the strength of a mother's love. Grandmother, great grandmother, auntie, cousin, Pookie them, Annie M them, that you know that has that real love, that old fashioned love, that when they hug you, look like the whole world just pass you by. Like, oh my God, nothing else matters right now after you got that hug.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Those are the ones that we know that we can lean on. Those are the ones that we know God put in our life to be a blessing to us. And I say again, thank you for all the pictures and all the hugs and all the love, because it got me through this week. I was a mess. And I told my husband that. I said, oh my God, I said, I cannot believe this place that I am in mentally. Why am I so low in spirit and, feeling all alone? But it got better. Every day, every picture, every post, it got better. And I just laughed more. The closer I got to Sunday, I said, "Oh my God, I'm almost there. I'm almost past this holiday called Mother's Day. Every day is Mother's Day for a real mom, real sister, real aunt, real cousin, real god sister, real godchild. Every day is Mother's Day, but we set aside Mother's Day, the second Sunday of May, to show extra special love. But I say to you that those times are hard for some people. And you do your best to hide it. You do your best to put the best on the outside. But those that know you know that you're in a place. Those that know you need the love. They know you need the comfort. They know you need the attention. Sometimes they don't always have to be there, but just to know that they are near is enough to wipe the tears from your eyes. So I thank God for all of those, special people in my life that I can go back and look at pictures and say, yeah, they were there. And I needed that. We went to a pre-Easter celebration with uh, one of our beautiful sisters in Fort Myers, Toya. Oh my God, I'm telling you, I needed that just to be around just beautiful people loving on one another, encouraging, talking, sharing, not gossiping, not backbiting, not tearing one another down. It was just great fellowship. And every now and then you just need that. Check on your strong people. I keep saying that. Check on your strong people because some of them are going through. Sometimes in the midst of, sometimes even after. Because every now and then, that S that's on their chest, it kind of like turns to the side sometimes. And they just need somebody to just pick it up and straighten their S on their chest and say it's okay. You need people in your life like that. They don't have to know what's going on with you. All they know is that you need a little love, need a little attention. And you have to keep them, keep those kind in your life, keep those kind nearby. They don't have to talk to you every second. They don't have to call you or text you. Just every now and then you'll see that number pop up. You'll see that face. You'll see that picture. You'll be saying, oh, that's what I needed. But we're talking about a mother's love on tonight and being able to share and understand, what did you teach those people, those babies that God brought into your life? I tell you that all the time. What did you teach those God children that God placed in your life? Did you really teach them how to sustain? Did you really teach them how to love? Did you teach them how to be able to handle the word no? Did you teach them about rejection? Did we teach them how not to hide ourselves when we are hurt or hurting? Did we teach them not to shut down in the midst of? Or are we just keeping them and watching them and laughing with them and feeding them and sending them back? Are we really teaching them when God gives up us an opportunity to impart in their lives? Those are still your broken pieces. They may not be your babies, but they're still your broken pieces. And are you teaching them how to maneuver on the ship called life in every phase that they go through? You may have them at a young age. You may have them between 1 and 5. You may have them newborn to 5. What are you really teaching them? Are we teaching them that I'm gonna give you everything that you want so that you won't cry and you won't disturb my quiet time in my movies? So I'm just gonna feed you so you'll stop crying? Or are we teaching them how to handle no and rejection and how to handle yourself in public? Am I teaching you not to have a temper tantrum? Because that can grow up in them when they get older. Now we're 7 to 12. And if I have a temper tantrum, you're going to give me what I want. You're going to buy me what I want. But if I had taught you that when your parents brought you to me and around me during that age before 5, I wouldn't have to deal with this while you're 12 or 13. And if we didn't get it then, did I teach you you don't use your looks and your body to get what you want? You don't love on me and hug on me and kiss on me to get what you want. No. So I got to teach you when I have the opportunity that you're in my presence. Can't be too tired. Can't be too angry. Can't be, all jacked up in our feelings and our emotions. That we don't make every moment a teachable moment. Talking about a mother's love on tonight. Talking about how to be able to sail in on our broken pieces. How to be able to maneuver this ship called life. Because it's coming. Storms are coming. Hurricanes are coming. Tornadoes are coming. But do we teach them how to maneuver in those storms? Do we teach them how not to break down and break away? Do we teach them how not to hide in the midst of? Because every little piece that shed from your life, you're able to come back. You can always come back home. You can sail in on your broken pieces. But we have to teach them. We love them. We want to nurture them. We want to give them the world. We want them not to have to do without like we did. I grew up in the project. By the time I realized that we were poor, I was graduating from high school. I thought we had life on a string. Did I know we were going to the fruit grove on the weekend to help pay bills? Did I realize that this was not a fun time on this bus that we used to call a love train, that all of our friends, our mamas were there, and all of us went to the fruit grove together on the weekend? Did I realize that that wasn't a fun love train? We were trying to get bills paid, but we had fun. And we look forward to the weekends meeting up with one another on that bus called a love train. Oh my God, I was in 12th grade. I'm like, dang, what we poor? She was sewing our clothes. You know, we thought we were fashion geeks because mom was making our clothes. Even though she was making them because she couldn't afford to buy them.
Right.
Oh my God. But we were selling in on our broken pieces. And she taught us how to survive with a little so that when God began to bless, we knew how to handle it because she showed us how to sell in on our broken pieces. Oh my God. So we try to do the same thing with the kids that God put in our life. Some get it and some don't. Some accept it, some receive it, and some don't. But those you can teach that remain teachable, you share it. Those that you can't, you know, the old saying says, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. They will find you, they will call you and expect you to be able to pour into them that thing that you were trying to pour into them from the beginning. Talking about a mother's love tonight, the effect that we have on our children, the effect that we have on our broken pieces, the things that we can do for them in every phase in their life, every opportunity that we have. You know, we have some that are spoiled. We know we have some that expect you to give and do for them all of the time. But did we teach them our broken pieces? Did we teach them how to handle rejection? Did we teach them how to handle the word no? Did we teach them how to grow up and store up like the ants did for those rough places in their life? I'm telling you, you got to get the book. The book is coming out soon called My Broken Pieces. It's going to minister to you and help you. And then those ones that God sent in your life after you read this book, you'll be able to help them. Those ones that He's going to send back to you that you may have missed it the first time, He's going to give you an opportunity the second time to be able to teach them, nurture them, mentor them, and be a blessing to them. And teach them how to sell in on their broken pieces. Oh my God, I'm blessed tonight. I missed you all last week, but like I said, I was all messed up in my emotions and sulking, but I'm here. What did it say? What Celia said, dear God, I'm here. That's it. That's it. Shout out to my husband. He's traveling, traveling grace, praying traveling grace and mercy upon him as he try to make his way back home. I don't know if he's still on, if there's anything he wanted to say before he hang up. Shout out to Deacon Luke Johnson for being on tonight, and the beautiful Chantel and Toya for hanging out with us on tonight, and always Cuz for being there. Anything you want to say, Pastor, before you go, before I get off?
Yeah, let me share 1 or 2, 3, maybe 10 pointers with y'all. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Hope y'all guys can hear me clearly here.
Yes.
I'm out here in these streets.
Out there in them streets, brother.
Out here in these streets. But I want to share something with you guys. We're talking about a mother love. Matter of fact, let me see if I pull this thing over real quick. I ain't gonna be able to do this like this here.
Okay.
Give me a few minutes here.
Okay.
I got a spot I can pull over here right here. Give me 1 second here.
We have my honeydew on the line tonight, traveling in his 18-wheeler, trying to make it home to his boo thing, but he still stopped by the mic long enough to share a word with us on tonight.
I'm ready here. I got to put over talk about a motherly love. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
And I'm just going to give you 3 quick pointers, real quick. When we're talking about as a mother comforts her child, and so God said He will also comfort that child.
Yes.
And I want you to look at something that's really going to take us to another whole level of what God is trying to share with us and what God is trying to do with us when it comes to Him comforting. And when we look at this right here, it takes us to another whole level that we have not seen before.
Yes.
I want you to listen to me very carefully. The Bible says, as a mother comfort her child, so will I comfort you, and you will be comforted over Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
So when you read that scripture, it's promising that God will comfort His people.
Yes.
Just as a mother also will comfort her child.
Yes.
Now, a lot of times this verse here is interpreted as a promise of divine love or a promise of care. suggesting, watch this now, that God's comfort is as tender and protective as a mother. A lot of times we go that route. A lot of times we think that's the way it is. But I want y'all to look at this right here very, very carefully with me. And I want y'all to understand, as we look at this, it's taking us to another whole level of understanding of what God is trying to say to us and do to us when it comes to Isaiah 66 and 13. Let's see me right here real quick. When you look at other versions of the Bible, the New Living Translation, I will comfort you there in Jerusalem as a mother comforts her child.
Yes.
That's one thing that if we're going to understand something, if we truly don't have an authentic relationship with Christ, we'll never understand the comfort of our mother. We'll never understand the words of our mother. She might look at you a certain way, or might say certain things unto you, or might chastise you a certain way, but that love is a love of comfort, of showing you that I am here not only just to protect you or to serve you, but also to guide you.
Yes.
And when we truly understand the guidance of a mother, we'll look at things from a different perspective of how our mother truly nurtures, how our mother truly comforts us, how our mother truly cares for us.
Yes.
This is another whole level of love here. And when we talk about unconditional love, there is no love as a mother's love. A mother's love is unconditional. So this is why Isaiah 66 and 13 is talking about, as a mother comfort her child, God will also comfort his people.
Yes.
You will never find another love like mother love. Not in your spouse, not in yourself, not in anyone. Because that mother love is the love that you're going to get to Christ. And so when we obey our mother and when we listen to our mother, we see things from a different perspective.
Yes.
A father will chastise you, thump you upside the head, and throw you in the corner somewhere. But that mother gonna chastise you, and when she really chastising you, she gonna comfort you. She gonna explain to you why she did this here. And I never understood my mother that she always said that this gonna hurt me more than gonna hurt you. I never understood that, but now I understand.
Yes.
It's the love that put me. She didn't want to chastise me, but it was the right thing to do at that moment.
Yes.
And so my brothers and my sisters, those that still have mothers, those that have lost mothers, your mother is still here. Whatever your issue is, whatever your situation is, you need to get it right.
Come on now.
Because I promise you, there are many on the line right here wish their mother was still here. They can have one more conversation with them right now. And you have your parents here and you don't want to talk with them. Something is really wrong with that.
That's it. That's it. So
it
true.
shows your closeness with your Lord and Savior. It's impossible for you to hear from God if you cannot hear from your parents. And so we have so much of this going on with the enemy. It's being trifling as he is. He's being cunning. He's being crafty. And we think that we're winning. We think that we're hurting. But don't let that hyphen get between those numbers. And it might not be your mother.
That's it. That's it.
There's a whole lot going on. And I just want to share that right there to all the mothers. I'll tell all the mothers, happy Mother's Day. Like I'm saying, the line long. I got to get back on this road here and keep it moving.
Yes.
Trying to get onto the house here.
Yes.
Glory
yes.
to God.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, guys.
Man, thank you so
much. And thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. We appreciate those words of encouragement. I know you got to get back on the road, so I'm going to keep talking while you get that truck back on the road and come on home to me. But I can just think about all the early parts of our relationship, how I had such a hard time, with my mom gone. We would just shut down and I would just lay in his lap. I didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to be around people, didn't want to gather. I couldn't do it to save my life without being a blurring mess in front of other people. And he sat with me and comforted me and talked to me, and thank God the weekend came on by and, here we go again. And then another year. But each year, I know God to be a healer. I know he'll heal that broken place if we let him. But the flesh still is weak at times and it'll catch you off guard. So just be mindful, stay praying, stay in the face of God, stay in the presence of the Lord. because it'll catch you at any given time, at any given moment. And that thing that the enemy wants to call depression, which is not of God, will try to fall upon you. That low place, that low feeling will try to fall upon you, but you got to shake that thing off. Grab that phone, text, email, call, tweet, LinkedIn, wherever you got to put it, TikTok, and begin to encourage someone else. And in the midst of that, being able to encourage yourself. Oh my God. I appreciate all of you for tapping in on tonight, being a blessing, still feeling your love. I'm telling you, you bless me more than you ever know. And just know that we love you. And truly, there's nothing you can do about it. Um, a Mother's Day is every day. Any day you want to be a blessing to that mother figure in your life. Again, auntie, godmama, sister, mama and them, Annie M, and Aunt Pookie, Aunt Jessie, Aunt Julia, whoever. You want to be a blessing to them. Any day of the week or month, you can do that. The Mother's Day is just a holiday that is set aside by man. But anytime the Lord lay on your heart to be a blessing to them, do it, because as Pastor Roger said, it may be your last time. You may not have an opportunity to send flowers. Oh, they don't like flowers, but I'd rather bring you flowers so you can see them while you're living than to be bringing all them flowers to your gravesite and to your funeral. So you're going to get these flowers whether you want to or not.
Right on.
So you can see them now while you're living. So you can smell them now while you're living, because you can't smell them when you leave here. So just know that I love you all, and truly there's nothing you can do about it. And again, I say to you, thank you, because you were more of a blessing in my life than you realize. Shout out to Mount Moriah and the church family for their love that they showed to the Queens on Sunday. Shout out to Pastor Sierra Boyd and her assistant pastor Charlene. The love that was hanging out on Mother's Day, all the phone calls, text, emails. Shout out to my kids for the beautiful flowers. God is so good. He really, truly is. And he'll give you what you need. Just understand and know that you can come back home and you can sell in on your broken pieces. Like I say, stay tuned, stay connected for the book. Shout out your girl for traditional artist of the year, www.myfloridagospelmusic.com. Go there and vote as many times as you want to. Voting is unlimited. We only have 20 days left for the voting. So go over to myfloridagospelmusic.com and vote for Barbara Walker for traditional artist of the year. This is my second nomination. So God is up to some things, and I appreciate him. Either way, I win. But vote for your girl. You don't have to vote for anybody else in any category. You can just go to traditional artist of the year, go to my name, Barbara Walker, click on it and come out. So thank you for sharing tonight. Thank you for showing love. Thank you for loving me. And we'll see you on one of these services. Tap in tomorrow at 6 p.m., 5:30 to 6 p.m. for our prayer birthing room with Apostle Lenny Royal. Followed by 6 p.m. our community Bible study with our very own senior pastor, Roger Walker. Stay a blessing, be a blessing, because you are a blessing. All right? Have an awesome night. Peace.
Peace.